Hello, welcome to Mambo Money, where we have fun to learn and earn. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I've brought you a very interesting guest. Someone who's going to help you make money from farming. If you're a person abroad and you're wondering how can you be investing money in Uganda, or if you're working and you're wondering how can you invest somewhere and you build up your investment portfolio, but maybe you want to have a side business, especially in farming, but you don't have the time, you do not have the skills. I brought you JB Magazi from Youth Platform Africa. Any questions that you have, I am sure I've guessed them. I'm going to ask him. Is it a scam? Is it not? Is it a Ponzi scheme? Is it not? Can you actually make money from there? But also we shall learn how they started and he himself, how he joined goat farming. Welcome. Hi, JB.
Hello, my friend.
So earlier we were talking.
Apuli.
How
Yes.
do you join goats farming?
Mm.
How do you join goats farming?
That is a tricky question because it is really a long story. I don't know how I'm going to summarize it. How did I join goat farming? I'll start by maybe explaining how did YPA start a goat farm. Because doing goat farming as a business, I started it in YPA, not as an individual. As an individual, I was doing agriculture. You know, majority of farmers out there are doing agriculture and they are good at that. But remember, there is a word agri and culture. A few of them are doing agribusiness.
So what YPA does is agribusiness.
Exactly.
So
what I was doing before YPA was agriculture. You keep a few goats, you're not having any vet doctor, you're not having any specific pasture for them. You don't mind where they sleep. You don't mind whether they have eaten anything or they have gotten water or things of that kind. So by so doing, what you are doing is agriculture. When they fall sick and you try to treat them locally and you find out that they are failing, you either slaughter it as soon as possible before you lose it.
You sell it at the lowest price.
Or you sell it at the lowest price for slaughter still.
Yes.
But if you're doing agribusiness, you look at this kind of health of a goat. Do I need a professional in this business? Okay, when do I need a doctor? Do I need a doctor on phone or I need a doctor permanently with my animals?
So if I'm to get you right, you joined agribusiness for goats through YPA. How did you join YPA?
How did I join YPA? Way back in 2009. YPA started in 2008, but I didn't join in 2008.
Oh, 2008. That's about now 20...
No, 17.
Yeah, 17.
17 years.
Most people think YPA started yesterday.
Yeah, that's what they think. And there is a lot in the world happening that the world doesn't know. Yet it was happening in the world. So
that during it started 2008.
I knew it. I knew how it started. I had all the information. I knew the members there, but I wasn't a member yet. I called it a scam. You understand? So I was like, they were doing bull fattening. They buy young bulls, they keep them for a few months, and then they sell them. They make a few profits out of it. So I was like, no, I can't afford a bull. That is the first point. I was a young boy in school. So
YPA has done bull fattening before?
Yeah. That's the first business, the first activity they did. They were around 21 people by then. Back then in the village of Chayumba, Madumba, Madu, Karamatendo, Nyachitembe, there, men around those areas.
Yes.
Yeah, so in a way of keeping these social ties, they decided to do some business that brings them together. Not particularly for business. Actually, when I say some business and then not particularly for business, there is a lot of businesses we are seeing that don't make business sense, but they are called businesses. So they were doing this for social ties, if I'm to just call it so, to bring them together, gather as men, talk about this and that, talk about the wives, the area, all that, and politics. But how did goats come into bull fattening? Now that is a problem. That is a question. That is a concern. So when they moved 1 year, 2 years after we had started growing up, making some little money, that is how we joined the group. Me as an individual, I joined the group.
I'm going to ask a question so that if I ever look for Ben Obed, did Ben Obed, was he part of the earlier group of the bull fattening?
Obed Ben,
because I might tell him to stop looking at himself as a young man.
But yeah, he comes there, he accepts that, he agrees he's not a young man. He's a young man, as when you compare to old men around him.
Yeah.
But not a young boy.
Yes.
He has been there for all those years.
So how you're telling us how now you joined?
Yeah, I joined when he was there already. I found him there. Yes, we were together in school and everything. That's how I came to know everything that was happening.
So you knew Obed Ben, and then you knew about the business
group that was there without him. And then when he joined, he started telling me what is there. We're buying this, and then we make some small profits. But when we sat together, we're like, no, this doesn't make any business sense. How do you buy a bull at 400,000? You keep it for 4 to 5 months, you sell it at 600,000. And then you say, I've made profits. 400 in 6 months, you're making profits of 200 without counting the expenses. The land, the pasture, security, and all the risks
and risks, yes.
All that.
And that's why I usually tell people there are different investment types. Yes. Some of the types of investments. One is called money preservation. So most people invest money for money preservation.
Thank you.
But they are actually not growing.
That is the third stage of financial systems.
Yes.
Like if I'm making money, there is a point where I have to be looking for money.
Yes.
There is a point where I have to be using the money to make more money. Then there is a point, that is the extreme end, where I'm just preserving
money.
Yes.
Now some people start with the preserve.
Exactly. They skip the second stage. They go look for money. For example, our Kadama brothers and sisters, when they go and make some money abroad, they just buy, for example, they buy land. Remember,
it's stolen.
Yes, land, even if it is not stolen, land is not gonna make you profits. If I'm to make it simple, for example, if I buy land today at 10 million, when will this land give me 10 million?
Makes sense. There was people build rentals.
Everybody knew it. That is their next step.
They take 10 years or 20 to actually recover the.
But it can never. They don't even take any years to, because it is not recoverable.
Yes.
It is recoverable in words.
So what you're trying to say?
I'm making 200,000 a month, meaning that after 8 years, I'll have made this money. But after 8 years, will you be having that money on your bank account?
So what you're saying, if you want to preserve money, yes, do land and
exactly. That is our last stage of keeping wealth.
If you're creating wealth and multiplying wealth,
if you're in creation, then do creation. Do things that create more money. If you're in preservation, then do things that keep your money safe. Actually, that is where the safe games come from.
Okay. So if I'm to get you right, which year did you exactly start YPA, you yourself?
2010.
2010. So 2 years later, you join YPA. I have something I want to share with you. In Gomba, where also your farms are, unfortunately, we've met in Uraga instead of Gomba. I was farming with my mother.
Yes.
She... so I started with a few goats, about 20.
Yeah.
And they started multiplying. We went into 50s. And then there was a project in Sembabuli, I'm not going to mention details, that was giving her, I think, giving them goats, and then when they multiply, you give back. I'm not going to go into it. So they also brought a number of goats, about 50. I think about 50. And then there came a disease. I think it was called Chifuruto.
Chifuruto. Even now it exists.
H. Fluto claimed over 100 goats of ours in a space less than 1 year. 100. So what I wanted to ask you, and I'm not in goats now. The only goats that are there is when I say, when I'm sina mafuta agriculture, can you help me? I sell. But what do you think people do wrong? And what do you think people must do? So I think we start, what should any person thinking of goats farming, even if it's not YPA, must think about doing to have a successful agribusiness in goats?
Okay, what majority of our farmers skip is what we call a veterinary doctor. They have them community doctors, mobile doctors,
Yes.
whereby you just make a call. Hello, my goat is kind of weak. I don't understand the problem. But you're forgetting that by the time you see your goat weak, it has been weak for weeks. Are you getting the point?
Yes.
So by the time you call this doctor to come at your farm, it has already spread this disease to other goats.
And meanwhile, they are usually not that responsive. The DVCs, I'm not saying ours, are good. But what I'm saying, some veterinary officers are not actually that responsible. Because in the villages, they actually rely on government-provided DBCs, and then
that's a problem. Whose is this business? Whose is that farm?
Government
is the farm for the government, or it is your farm? Okay, who benefits from that farm?
The individual.
If it is an individual benefiting from this farm, why would I wait for this government to do for me something? I think what our government can do is in the infrastructure. If I want to transport my goods from village to Kampala, is maybe some drugs, some vaccines that we cannot import ourselves, things like that. But knowing that I need a vet doctor at my farm is paramount. Without a doctor, you have nothing. Actually, you are on a verge of making a loss anytime soon. If you have a farm, even if it is so successful as we speak today, but you don't have a doctor who is permanently there, watching the goats in the morning as they wake up, watching the goats as they move out, watching the goats as they come back, watching each and every step of this goat, we have ever lost 1,500 goats.
Yo.
I'm not talking about 15 goats.
In how long?
In a period less than 6 months.
Wow.
You talked of a year. I'm talking about 6 months. 1,500 goats.
We are going to come to that. I'll ask you if you also have risks.
Yeah.
How do you guarantee other people's investments? But before we come to that. Those. So the first one, have a veterinary doctor.
Yes. Then the second thing, understand the breed. Not every breed makes money. There are some breeds of goat that you can take care of in all ways possible, but they still weigh 12 kgs.
So if you're rearing for culture, those ones,
you can do those ones, yeah.
But if you're rearing for business, which breeds should we think about?
You see, now in Uganda, I'm going to talk about our own breed.
Yes.
So our own breed, it is a breed that we got from Boer. I think you all know about Boer goat.
Yeah, most people have heard of Boer.
And that is what most people have kept, and I won't say have suffered with, but that is what most of them have kept. Then we have Savannah, we have Kalahari, we have our Mubende, our own, and so many other varieties. We have over 300 breeds of goats.
But for you,
so I'm going to talk about the 4.
Okay.
How are we doing these 4 here in Uganda? If you only keep the Boer goat, it is risky. Its risks are high. If it falls sick, you have 99 chances of losing it. It will be very hard for you to make it recover if it falls sick. So you have to handle it with a lot of care. Or, you understand that stuff, which is not for us as Ugandans. We won't manage to give them that care. So we got Boer plus Kalahari, and we get a goat from the 2. Then this goat, now it is a unique breed. It is neither Boer, neither Kalahari. So we get that crossbreed of Boer and Kalahari, we cross it with Savannah. Of course, measuring the percentages, doing all that research, I won't explain the biological methods that are used. It is a long story.
So you given it a name?
Yeah, of course you have a name. Then we get the breed from Boer and Savannah. We crossbreed it with Kalahari. We get that goat, we crossbreed. Now it is a combination of Boer, Kalahari, and Savannah. Then we crossbreed it with Bubende.
The process.
Yes, it is a long process. Yeah, sometimes when you get, I'm just mentioning 4 breeds, interbreeding them, but it doesn't mean that it is Boer and Kalahari.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that it is Kalahari and Savannah. But what I'm trying to mean is it is a combination of 4 breeds.
Your mother is Mtoro, your father is Mnyarwanda,
And then the mother,
Uganda, then your son marries Mcholi. Now the
result is what YZOE has right now.
Now, no wonder people usually ask, but the price.
Do you know how we have suffered with that? You know, you can crossbreed a Savannah and a Kalahari, and the result becomes worse than Savannah itself, and worse than Kalahari itself. So it becomes a loss.
Okay.
You crossbreed Kalahari with a Boer to see the result. So it is a lot of research that was done biologically, using artificial insemination and all those methods. Going out, when he lost the 1,500 goats, Obed Men had to go to South Africa for a full course about goats in particular. But as we speak today, he goes to South Africa to train them about goats.
So as we are learning, if you're going to do any business at a certain point, the first investment or the other investment you have to make is in yourself.
Yeah.
Before you buy land, before you invest in whatever asset, think about investing in yourself to learn more. That's why I usually tell people, if you want to turn your knowledge into money, you have to get a mentor, a coach, or someone who has done what you're doing to help you, teach you how to do that. Maybe later it is you who will be teaching him the hair we've just said.
I normally give them an example related to what you've just said. If I have my land and I want to construct a house, but I'm a lawyer, what do I do? Do I go back to school
to learn
engineering, to learn about construction? What do you do in that case?
You look for an architect, you look for somebody.
You look for those
who have done it before or who do it.
Exactly. It is either a referral, he did it for me and now I'm referring that same person to you for the same or better results. But why would you think that if I'm to do farming, I have to be doing it myself entirely?
Makes sense. So first, we've said, get a veterinary doctor.
Yes. Second, mind about the breed. And then third, now this is funny. Third, have a why. Why
are you doing?
Why? You see, why matters in all businesses. That is not a good why.
What other way would I have to do goat farming?
Because you see, in Africa, we have always wanted to make money, but we don't have money up to now. If we are categorizing continents that have money, Africa will come last.
True.
But why? Yet we are all looking for money. It is because those people who have money are not looking for money. Even when they didn't have money, what they were looking for wasn't money. I don't know whether it makes sense.
To me, it makes sense.
I know. I'm giving you an example.
That's why I do a business I do.
Exactly.
And it's not money.
You're not doing this for money.
It ends up bringing money.
Yeah, and money should be a
product
in your business.
Yes.
So because the why and the purpose. Strictly looking at money, I'll call you and start talking about what? You know, some things are a little bit insecure to talk about.
Yes, I know. It's better than coming.
I might take you to a certain kind of business you wouldn't really want to talk about. But since the major aim behind this is money, money will force you into doing that kind of business. So the reason as to why we are keeping goats as YPA wasn't for money.
Well, should I say to empower youths?
That is one. Empowering ourselves as well, because we are youths. Empowering the youths around us. Empowering communities, because it started as a community-based organization. It grew into a company. It now exports all these products. We are now constructing a factory. So if we are just looking at money, I won't even think about a factory.
You even forgotten you have a restaurant.
We even have a restaurant. You understand?
Nyama choma.
Yeah, for strictly goat's meat. If you want guinness, vijanjaro beans, or all that, go elsewhere.
If you're a person who is dear to me, you may know yourself. Please make sure we plan to come back here just for nyama choma. Now that you've talked about the three reasons, major reasons. One, veterinary doctor. One, veterinary doctor. Number two, we've talked about having the right breed. Number three, and most importantly, a good why.
Yeah.
There could be other reasons. Maybe you will follow him so that you continue learning from him. But I'm going to ask the most important question that some of you are also wondering whether I'm going to ask. If you teach me that I can do all those, why don't I do it myself? So why should I invest with YPA?
That is a question I ask myself every now and then. Why would you invest in YPA? Why would you keep your goats at our farms? Can't you do it yourself? Because we are out there training people to do it by themselves.
So you're not asking people, come and you must do it.
Actually, what I want most is not people coming to me to do it with me. No, I want people to call me so that I can show them on ground level how they can do it for themselves.
Mama wangu mwagano. Omuntu mulina. So I am bringing him, ngenda mulete gomba, babiyigirize, ekirungi nabo bava gomba. Ate ntegedde nti efforts zaabwe baneighbor baffe. So tugenda baleeta tuyigire awo. So you can train people, and you're still wondering why they want you. When do they want to invest with?
But I know I have an answer.
Yes.
Yeah. You see, if you are my brother and I know your weakness, it is so bad to take your weakness for an advantage. This is what happened in the Bible between Isaac's sons, Esau and Jacob. Jacob was a mother's son. You know mother's sons, eh? Chana cha mama. Esau was a father's son. You could go hunt, bring meat at home, they enjoy. But when he went and didn't get meat, came back hungry, Jacob took an advantage and said, okay, he needs food. So you are either going to sell me your, how is it called?
Right. Birthright.
Your birthright. You understand?
In exchange for food.
In exchange for food. He took advantage of the weakness. He didn't have food, he was hungry, and this mother's son had food at home. So if you must eat my food, then you're going to give me your birthrights. That is what we could do if we really have the intentions of just making money out of these people, and we could achieve it. But the reason as to why we are doing this, the training and all that, is because we want you to own what belongs to you already. It belongs to you, but you just don't want to own it.
So if there's a person who has now listened, they're just going to look for you to train them.
Yeah.
But now, which person is your ideal person who should directly invest with YPA to buy?
Yes, that is where I was going.
Yes.
So why are we keeping goats for people? Not all of them. I mean, not all of the goats we have. But why are we having that big number of goats for people? We are not equal. You have land, I don't have land. You are employed somewhere, very busy from morning till evening. When will you ever think for that money that you're being paid? Salary is a scam. Actually, if I'm to talk about scams, salary is the very first scam. If you really look at it as a source of wealth, it is a lie. You will never get wealth from salary. But what if this, because money is money, and that is what we talked about in the beginning, that everyone makes money, regardless of the amount, but it is money. Yes. So the challenge is, how do I use this money to make me more money? In that case, that's why we said it is fine, it is well. Instead of you looking for 10 million to first buy land, you look for 10 million for 10 years to buy land. Use the very 10 million to start a project that will buy you land, start a project that will buy you a house, start a project that will buy you a car and all those stuff that you like.
So what I'm getting,
Yeah.
YPA wants you to have a farm.
Yeah.
But you may not be able to afford their farm to bring them to train you.
Yeah.
But 10 years from now, you want a goat's farm. So invest with them. They have the resources. What, in other words, we call crowd investing or crowd farming. Put money together. And then when your investment matures, grows, you have now the capacity to buy land.
And actually, these things are everywhere, but not in Uganda.
Yes.
When you go to Rwanda, they are doing it. Zimbabwe, they are doing it. Kenyans are doing it. Very many countries that have grown in agribusiness, this is what they are doing. Because land is scarce to a certain extent.
Especially in some countries.
Yes, especially. But here in Uganda, land is not yet scarce.
Yes.
Yeah, if you think that land is scarce, you're just looking around your community only. I'm looking at around my Masaka region. But if you move around Uganda, my dear friend, there is a place you can find land that is hired at 200 per year. 200,000. Go to that place, hire 10 acres, start a farm on that land. What does it cost? Instead of looking for capital to own it, you know, there is what we call an independence syndrome. I normally talk about this on my accounts. Independence syndrome is a disease that has made Africa the way you're seeing it today. We love owning regardless of what we are owning, regardless of the results from what we are owning. For example, if I have your car, I'm going to be paying you 300,000 per week, right? But if, I don't know, but will that come? I want to use a simple example that everyone can understand. If you have 1 acre of land, and you grow maize on that land, you're going to harvest maybe 10 sacks of maize, which will give you something like 1.5 million.
Yeah.
Are we together?
Yes.
But if you give that land to some expert in passion fruits, they are going to be harvesting around 15 million. They are ready to be paying you 2 million per season as rental fee. So the question is, are you going to keep the land and do your maize, or you're going to give this man this land and you get the 2 million per season? There is another example. I have 10 million in my wallet.
10.
All I have is 10 million, but I want to start farming. I need to construct a goat pen, a goat house, a structure. Yes. I need to construct the house for the workers. I need to plant some pasture. I need to buy the goats. I need to have labor that is paid monthly.
Yes.
I need security. I need insurance. I need transport to always visit this land. But I have 10 million. So what will that 10 million do?
Which may not even buy the land.
So
for that reason,
we said, let's come together. If we are 100 people with 10 million each, that is 1 billion.
Yes.
Yeah, that is 1 billion already.
Yes.
Our 1 billion can start up a farm from which we are all going to benefit.
And the economies of scale.
Yes.
You take advantage of
expenses are shared.
Yes. And I remember there's a person who said, the first person who introduced me to business is, he had a TV show, business TV show, some years ago called The Prophet. It's called Marcus Lemonis. And Marcus Lemonis used to say, he just doesn't understand humans, how they want to own this, but not own this as one of 5 people. So most people want to own this alone
rather than owning this as
5 people. Because if you own this as 5 people, it means one of you has this, another on this, another on this, another on this. But someone wants this.
Do you know that in Meta, Mark Zuckerberg's company, that owns Facebook, WhatsApp,
Instagram,
etc.
Yes.
Do you know that he has, I think he might be having now less than 30% shares in it?
But the money he makes from there.
But he is one of the billionaires and he is the owner of the Meta.
Yes.
But he has partners that are silent. Okay, where are the 70% shares?
Silent.
In others, if these people fail him, he is failing as well with them.
Yeah. And actually, some of us can even invest in Meta.
Thank you
By
so much
stock.
by buying there. So,
And the more
there was no way.
grows,
Okay, the only thing you can achieve as a sole individual is being rich. You can be rich because being rich is defined by having access to whatever you want as long as you work. I can get
as long as you want.
whatever I want as long as I work. But a question, what if you are no longer working?